if I find myself doing that, I'll usually apologize to the person.
When people meet you, are they taken back by your mannerisms? I mean, you seem pretty low-key people.
They expect us to have like to be foaming at the mouth and to be, be screaming. A lot of people, have told other people, and it's gotten back to us that, they thought we'd bite their heads off if they complimented us, or they expect these lunatics, and there's a lot of rage in that magazine, but for the most part, thank God, we've learned to keep it largely within the magazine.
If you didn't have the magazine, do you think you'd bend it out in destructive ways?
I mean, if I was still back in Philly working a shit job, I'd definitely be a serial killer, or I'd be in jail for assault or something, without a doubt. Yeah, it would be too much frustration to see all these rich and famous assholes. So I think
no talent.
I feel better then. Yeah, definitely. There would be too much frustration to bear.
They're rich and famous, and they're so untalented, and that's what hurts. When you know you have the ability, and you're just not getting anywhere.
Not to even say we have a lot of talent, but we think we're better than a lot of people who make it, and then usually they make it through connections and not talent.
Yeah,
so.
It's all connections. We don't have any connections. I can honestly say I don't think I have any friends. So.
Who's your best friend?
Oh, of course, Jim, my husband. And my cats.
Yeah.
That's it. Because people have always let me down, with their insincerity, and I just try to stay away from them. I stay to myself.
If there was one person you guys could kill, each, who would that person be? You could kill them in impunity.
My mother.
And my father. Our only surviving family.
Yeah.
Parents.
Didn't she do too much damage, I think, to get away with?
My father, because of his negativity, his attitude, and even though I'm thousands of miles away from it, a part of it is still in me that I can't get away from, and that's what I would like to kill.
Yeah, just drilling in my skull for however many years how worthless I am.
Yeah, we were worthless. That's what we heard while we were growing up our whole lives. That my father used to say, you should have died instead of your mother. You're worthless, I wish you were dead. Day in and day out. So I wasn't physically abused, but it was just the negativity and the criticism, and it stayed with me. Yeah. And that's why, I pretty much have a very negative attitude. I'm not a happy person.
And the worst thing my mother ever did was oversaw me getting my face bloodied frequently by my father, and then denied it ever happened when I grew up. So I think she has it coming. Plus she married my uncle and killed him in some way 2 days later.
He had a heart attack and died.
Do you think your aversion to children is because of the childhood that you had?
Sure. We had completely different experiences. We'd be completely different people. That's why I don't get down on people because they're not as angry as I am, or they don't think like I am, because they've had a different fucking life. But unfortunately, a lot of people are willing to judge me without ever having gone through the shit I've gone through. And most of them are people who think they have open minds, too.
So then if you were to have children, then you think you'd vent out your anger on them?
Well, we won't ever have children.
Yeah, that's not a possibility.
I understand that.
There's no possibility for that.
I've said this before, I'd be like a male guppy. I'd eat its head off or something. Yeah.
Like our peace and quiet, too. And
we hate our progenitors enough that we'd hate the end of the line there, too. And
I have trouble enough taking care of myself.
Yeah. I don't know
That's
how people
another
do
reason.
People do it because they think it's the right thing to do, and I think eventually almost everyone regrets it.
Yeah, we got married to be together. And a lot of people say, well, how could you be married and not have kids? But there's more to it than that.
If this building was in an earthquake right now and we were stuck in here, and we had the only source of food was dead bodies, which one of us would you eat first?
I just got to say that in a way, I'd welcome an earthquake because I think they're a lot of fun. And anything that jolts up humanity, I just get a kick out of it. I probably would go hungry. I don't think I could eat anybody.
I think I'd rather die than get so intimate with another human being besides Debbie that I'd have to eat their flesh.
I'd probably just start screaming, get us out of here,
I'd probably start nibbling on my own fingers.
Yeah, we'd probably eat ourselves faster than we'd eat anybody else. I could see throwing up very easily.
I mean, we can't stand bumping into people, so
Yeah.
meeting them would kind of be right out of the question.
I think that's it. What do you
Is there
think?
anything you guys would like to say?
Anything to add to what we want to say to anybody?
You know, I wish people would live their own lives, and for the most part, if something pisses them off about what we're doing or what anybody else is doing, don't buy the fucking magazine. You know, take responsibility for your own existence. We don't force ourselves on anybody. So if anybody would want to complain,
Yeah, I mean, I think people should, if it really annoys them, they should call us up and confront us with it, because like about 6 weeks ago, a woman did call me up, and I guess in her way, she was trying to confront me with it, but she wound up hanging up on me, and I was trying to debate her about the issues, and she said something like, nothing dies, it only changes. So I said, well, what does that have to do with our magazine? And she just said, well, it has everything to do with your magazine. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Could you be specific? Could you point out an article? And she couldn't back up a word of what she was saying, and she wound up hanging up on me. So don't hang up, just confront me, you know, and we'll try to debate the issues, you know.
if anyone can prove that I'm doing something wrong, I'd be the first to admit it. I'm open-minded enough that, you know, I've changed my thinking a million times since I was a kid, so, you know, I don't think I'm going to possibly think this way for the rest of my life. If a better way of thinking comes along, I'll definitely adopt it. People should live their own lives without getting pissed off about what other people are doing. Usually the people that do get upset about shit and go on crusades are people with such pitifully empty lives. That's all they have to do. And they exist as parasites on the thing they're attacking.
They never see their
Without
own
what they
faults.
hate, they have no life of their own.
They're total hypocrites. They never see maybe something inside of themselves that could be the true problem, that they have to direct it onto somebody else, an enemy, because people love to have a scapegoat.
For their problems.
Yeah, and that's what brings people together, a common enemy. That's the only thing that'll bring,
It's like-
I think, society together.
The guy in Florida was probably going to go to jail for doing his little magazine, which had a circulation of 300. He had cartoons, you know, priest fuck little boys with the priest's dick all the way through the mouth and coming into the chalice and shit. And they'll attack that guy and they'll put him in jail, but they won't put the priest who's fucking little boys in jail. Because it's easier to find, he's an easier target.
All he does is print it.
Yeah. All he does is report it. And
Yeah.
They stab the messenger instead of handling the bad news.
All right. We appreciate you taking the time.
No
Thanks a
problem.
lot.
Let's get the fuck out of this room. Too hot.
My hand is being barbecued by